everybody, this is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the possibility that the Great War will end up being an Origins remake. Now, I know I touched on this topic a little bit in a previous video, and even though it would be disappointing for every future Ether map to be a remake or remaster, I almost think it works out perfectly for the Great War to be an Origins remake. So let's take it back to the Origins opening cutscene when Samantha says this.
It began long ago, on the battlefields of the Great War.
Now, she could be referring to World War I when she's talking about the Great War, since that was the original name of World War I before World War II happened, but it would be an easy retcon for Blundell to say, you know what, she was actually referring to the Great War between the Keepers and the Apothicans during this opening cutscene. Let me know what you think of that theory down below in the comments section. But another big piece of support for this idea is the ending of Revelations, where we can clearly see the mound in the background. We've played Origins and Revelations enough to know what the mound looks like, so this is a huge hint that the Great War can possibly take place near Generator 4 or even Generator 5, right by the mound in Origins. Now, we've also seen Primus holding the staves 100 times every time we beat Revelation, so it would be pretty ironic to say the Great War is an Origins remake featuring the original staves, while Origins takes place obviously right after World War I, and we have the replicas of the original staves. So a very easy tie-in amongst the two maps. I really hope that if they do make the Great War an Origins remake, then it of course lives up to the name of Origins being as fun as Origins was, and obviously gives us the original staves as well. Now, this would be an easy way for Treyarch to continue the Ether storyline without diverting too many resources and too much development time away from the Chaos storyline. Now, I say that because when we think of Treyarch developing a map just surrounding the Great War, and this is obviously the Great War post-cycle break, we're imagining this massive map, a massive battlefield, seeing the original staves, seeing Apothicans, Keepers, Dr. Monty, the Shadow Man, all of us going at it in what could be an 8-player map between Primus and Ultimus, maybe even a 12-player map with Victus in there as well. We're just imagining all types of stuff going on here, but to think of them doing that alongside developing more maps for the Chaos storyline and even more updates for Blackout and multiplayer, all this shit at the same time, it almost feels overwhelming. So to put the Great War in an Origins remake would also make sense. It kind of scales down that big concept and allows them to create a nice storyline, some nice gameplay opportunities in a familiar setting that they don't really have to work too much on in terms of the layout. Obviously the aesthetics and the time and the setting, all that shit has to match with the Great War, but it wouldn't look too different from how Origins did in terms of the layout, as I said. We also have this teaser which seems to be foreshadowing the future of the Ether storyline. As you can see, on one side we have Primus, and then on the opposing side we obviously have the enemies, but one of those enemies looks like a zombified version of Dr. Monty, or a different form of Dr. Monty. Now, we saw the Shadow Man's true form in Black Ops 3, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Dr. Monty's true form later in Black Ops 4 Zombies, regardless if the original voice actor of Monty returns, even though he is pretty damn expensive. So let me know what you think of all this down below in the comments section. I know it might be a little bit disappointing if all future Ether maps end up being remakes, but once again, blame Activision for rushing the release date of Black Ops 4, or else Treyarch would have had a much smoother experience developing maps for both the Ether and Chaos storylines. It would even be disappointing to say the last map, the grand finale of the Ether storyline, is an Origins remake. It would be kind of weird. I don't think anybody would have expected a remake of Origins. We already had the remaster in Black Ops 3, so that means we'd see Origins a total of 3 times in 3 Treyarch games in a row. But that's about it. This is dkdynamite, and peace out, everybody.